Tonight on a special Nightline, life and death in the most dangerous place in the world.
This could get real dicey real quick.
Fear, courage, adrenaline, unfiltered.
Hey Olsen, kid, give him some down low!
On the front lines of the fight in Afghanistan, this is war up close and personal.
From the global resources of ABC News with Terry Moran, Martin Bashir, and Cynthia McFadden in New York City. This is Nightline, November 12, 2007.
Good evening. Tonight, on this special edition of Nightline, we bring you an unfiltered and unvarnished look at the brutal reality of war. The conflict in Iraq is the one we hear most about, and yet just 900 miles away in Afghanistan, some 25,000 American troops are fighting and dying. In this year alone, 100 American soldiers have been killed amid reports that the Taliban is resurgent and gaining ground. In a joint project with our colleagues at Vanity Fair, we were given exclusive access to one platoon's experience in the hills and valleys of northeastern Afghanistan. Joining me now is our chief investigative correspondent, Brian Ross. Brian?
Martin, this is the untold story of the hard-fought battles that are part of the daily routine for U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan. For all the modern might of the American military, it is the skill and determination, the guts of each individual soldier that makes the difference there. You're about to see some of the most remarkable footage ever shot in any war, thanks to some courageous journalists who were granted unique access to the 173rd Airborne and the tough 2nd Platoon of its battle company. It is the untold story of the other war. The call to prayer at sunrise in the Korangal Valley of Afghanistan. For U.S. troops going after the Taliban and Al-Qaeda, searching for Osama bin Laden, this is the forward point. And the most dangerous point. As seen in this dramatic footage, shot by journalists on assignment there for the magazine Vanity Fair and ABC News Nightline.
Hey, to the left of it!
Including author Sebastian Junger.
We just got hit by ACM across the valley.
I was with the 2nd Platoon of Battle Company in the 173rd Airborne. And 2nd Platoon is at this little outpost called Firebase Phoenix. And there's about 30 of them there, and they're considered the point of the spear of the American effort to bring influence and control into the Korangal Valley.
Part of that is an attempt to win the hearts and minds of the people who live here.
2-2, did you copy last?
That's what the 30 men of the 2nd Platoon, led by Lieutenant Matt Piosa, were supposed to be doing on this day in June, as they went to meet with the elders of the village of Aliabad.
I just wanted to come in and talk to you briefly about the pipe project.
They want to put in a pipe project in Aliabad. The idea behind a pipe project is you bring water into a village, you have the goodwill of the villagers, they won't support the Taliban. That's the idea behind counterinsurgencies.
But as the 2nd Platoon left the village on this day, they received a radio message that they were about to be hit.
Oh, Jason, came right by here. South! Hey! Oh, there's fire coming. They're shooting over there. We have 2 spots over there, too. Can't get up. Hey!
In an instant, 2nd Platoon was under a full-scale attack, virtually surrounded by enemy fire.
Got something over there! Taking fire from the east, vicinity Junger, and fire from the south. Had a couple tracers come in real close from the south.
It was an expected attack.
My location.
We got down behind this wall, started shooting back, and called in artillery to hit the hillside opposite us. That's artillery going in right now. That's support fire from the top, from the base right down there.
I found myself having a very hard time sticking my head above the wall to shoot anything with my camera. That was very, very hard for me. But the soldiers, they stood up, returned fire. Every single soldier was, as far as I could tell, essentially operating in their unit and fearless.
It's the war these men signed up to fight.
Oh yeah, you're scared.
You're scared?
Yeah, I mean, we had ample cover, but I mean, my knees were bent 90 degrees, you know, squatting for the entire, whatever, 45-hour we were out there shooting, engaging.
Specialist Brian Underwood left an office job in Chicago to fight the terrorist responsible for 9/11. He's dedicated each of the giant shells he carries to someone back home.
We got for Mom, for Terrence, my girlfriend, for Doug, he was in Vietnam, my stepdad, for Jenna, it's my sister. I'll be off.
For Underwood and the 2nd Platoon, the days at the base camp are marked by long stretches of boredom, cleaning weapons, catching up on sleep, playing with the platoon dog, Tank.
Anything moving outside this wire, yeah, Tank, you'll watch. You hear him, he'll sit here, growl, and then just run to wherever there's movement. You're like, oh, you got mail.
The mail comes about once a week. Some letters more welcome than others. Underwood heard from his girlfriend, Sergeant Erin Hajar, from a debt collector.
Good to know they're keeping track of how much I owe them. I mean, God knows what would happen if I didn't pay them back, you know? I got a letter from my girlfriend, Taryn. She always smell it? Yeah, she always makes it smell real good. Mine doesn't smell like anything but debt.
But the next attack is never far away.
You got eyes on him? He's down in the draw! Out close!
Sometimes a full-out assault.
Hey, Olsen, keep giving him some down low. There, you're doing good.
Other times, just a lone gunman who can pin down the entire platoon.
Hey, he's on that bridge line.
Hunter, what's going on right now?
Getting shot at by single-shot Freddy.
Who's that?
I have a feeling he's a blind Afghan man somewhere between the ages of 60 and 75 years old. And he likes to scare the shit out of us with these single shots that he takes.
One big problem is fire coming from the houses in the village, where Taliban and Al-Qaeda fighters put women and children on the roof, so U.S. forces, under their rules of engagement, cannot return fire.
They're on the roof of the building. It looks like a woman. Oh, she's got a kid. Correction. She's got one in her hands.
It is a huge frustration for U.S. forces and has led to repeated showdowns between the village elders and the company commander, Captain Daniel Kearney.
What do I do when they start shooting at me? Am I supposed to not shoot back at them and turn around and go and ask you if I can shoot at them, if they're bad or not?
Kearney allowed our cameras to record this meeting with the village elders, a rare insight into why progress has been so difficult for U.S. forces here.
So they're shooting at you just as much as they're shooting at me. If you want me to stop shooting, then you tell them to stop shooting. If they're shooting at us from your village, then I'm going to shoot into your village.
That was June. In the next few months, the situation would only get worse in the Korengal Valley.
We return now to Brian Ross's report on the 2nd Platoon at the so-called point of the spear, the leading edge in the fight to hunt down Osama bin Laden and secure a dangerous corner in Afghanistan. But they're about to learn that an attack on a local village suspected of harboring Taliban fighters can have devastating consequences.